Here. Into real estate to make money, right?
Yes, but see, that's the thing. I have another job, so that kind of took precedent, but I'm trying to merge the two.
Okay, so what I say to anyone who has another job is everyone in your sphere, everyone that you know, they need to think that you're doing real estate full time
Okay.
because most of your business is going to come from referrals from everyone you know. So everyone you know, they might not be the buyer or seller themselves, but everyone comes across two people a year that are going to buy or sell,
Or going by some.
and you want to be the.
Okay.
So, if you had a friend that was doing real estate part-time
Mhm.
and one of your office associates or your boss was talking about buying or selling,
Mhm.
probably not refer them to your friend who was doing it part-time.
And not at all.
So, but if you had a friend who was doing it full-time and you knew they were competent
Mhm.
and would definitely do their best to help them,
Mhm.
that's a referral, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I suggest that everyone knows that you're doing real estate full-time.
Okay.
It's hard because of social media. People can see what you're doing, right?
Mhm.
So if you're in another job and you're posting on social media about your other job, that's a problem. Or getting, people at work might say, what are you doing? You're in real estate.
The good thing about my work is that they're asking about it. Like, oh, so how's real estate going there? They're interested. Yeah, they're interested. Yes, and they're supportive.
Very good. We are in Ignite. We're in a brand new 2024 version. It's the guy's number 1718. Okay, start with that one. All right, so just for fun, or you know what? Let's.
Where's your friend?
No problem. All right, I did want to show something. So, Richard sent me a link last night that I wanted to share with you guys. I saved it under contracts. It's my shared folder. So you guys, if you ever need this, it's in my shared folder under contracts and then buyer and tenant representation. And there's something here he sent me, AB 2992, real estate law, buyer broker representation agreements. So if you're having a client that doesn't want to sign, oh no. If you have a client that doesn't want to sign Check this out. AB 2992, by passed. Current status is passed. And it says here, this bill would require the buyer's agent to provide disclosure, okay? This bill would require agreements providing for non-compensation to be paid to a real estate licensee for the purchase of specified residential property. By expanding the scope of a crime, this bill would impose a state mandated local program. Crime, it is a crime to write an offer for a buyer without having them sign a buyer representation.
Or the non-agency,
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
if they don't want to sign it
it's an actual crime. It's
now, like.
Wow.
now, this is passed.
I mean, that's
As
kind of necessary for what they're making us do.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Don't start telling people that it's illegal for them not to, they're still not gonna want to sign the thing.
it's an actual crime.
Wow.
I don't mind that. If they're making us do all
That's
this,
good.
yeah, if they're making us do all this extra documents and everything, that's annoying.
That means everyone's gonna say you have to sign.
Yeah, now you can say you're legally required to, otherwise,
Yeah.
It's a crime. Otherwise, I'm
Crime.
committing a crime.
otherwise I'm creating a.
So-
That's not gonna scare people more, is it? God.
So I read through it. This bill would require, which is passed, by the way. This bill would require that a buyer's agent and a buyer execute a buyer broker representation agreement as soon as practicable, but no later than the execution of the buyer's offer to purchase the property. So Richard, I'm just sharing what you sent me with everybody. This is insane. I'm saying it's insane. It's a crime
Yeah.
for us not to have a buyer broker agreement. At least by the time we're writing the offer. So in actual practice, what that means is. For sure, when you're sending an offer to a buyer. One of the documents included with your offer, if you don't already have it, will be the buyer broker representation.
And,
Which is what I've been doing, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been sending it with my offer.
and also you can disarm those people that don't know any better, that refuse to sign anything. You can blame it on the state legislature. It's not
But
me.
we're the ones committing the crime,
Yeah,
right? So, but the crime is, not later than. When it's time to write the offer.
but what I'm talking about is when people don't want to sign, you can show it to them and say it's not me, it's those mean people and stuff.
Like the government.
They're forcing me to do this. I don't want to do it, but they're forcing me to.
All right, so I found that really interesting. I've never,
It's kind of what you want. but-
this is so. There's crimes for doing things and crimes for not doing things. I've never come across a crime for not doing something. This is the first time I've come across a crime for not doing something,
I got 4 more articles I printed if you want to take a look at it.
not doing something. So,
Okay.
right? I mean, you have laws for doing things.
Yeah.
This is a law for not doing something. See offers.
Black and
In
white.
black and white, I'm like. What's going on here?
They cheap out on you.
Let's grab it.
I'll trade with her. No. I have some black, I have some color ones.
I am okay.
It's not okay.
Oh, I need the contrast.
Yeah.
Weird.
They don't like me.
Weird. Nick and receive all. Okay. Good. Let's go. So we are doing Ignite, which is taught in every Keller Williams around the world. This is Ignite 90210 because we have our high-end spin on it. A little bit about me. I've been doing this for 20 years now, 12 years in this office. I started my career by flipping property. So my Wednesday and Thursday classes, this is gonna be like really everything you need, general knowledge to do everything we do every day. So going on a list, how to explain to a seller the listing process. So we go over that overview. Explaining to a buyer the process of buying a property, so we go over that. Actually dealing with escrow, what is an escrow, who's title, what a lender does, being really deep into that. SIP forms and transaction files. That's where our contracts are. There is software called SIP forms, and then maintaining organization using transaction files. This is a two-part course I did last week, and we'll do it again, obviously. The residential purchase agreement. This is the most important class in real estate because everything revolves around the purchase agreement. If you missed it and you need to, if you want to review this, it's recorded. You can go to AWBH Virtual, click on helpful links, and then you'll be able to go to YouTube video. To know the perfect contract in order to properly give a counter offer. So that would be the next class that we'll do Wednesday. Do counter offers and amendments, addendum modifications. And then we will do comp. We did a comp Friday, but we'll do it again. I'd like to do comps every week if we can. Going on a buyer consultation. So that's really us questioning buyer to get clear on what they're looking for. Then going on a listing appointment, which is something that we should have priority, number one priority. And then how to fill out disclosure forms. We'll talk about disclosures, transfer disclosure statement, seller property questionnaire. Those are forms that have to be hand filled out by a seller. So that we spend a little extra time on that. Doing inspections for the buyer. And then negotiating with the seller after the inspections are done. There's going to be a little bit after we find out more about a property than we knew going into it. And then we talk about leases. So this lease class could be 1 or 2 classes. This is a great way to break into any market. It takes each lease requires a lot of nurturing and time. But you could make a big business out of it and make a lot of connections in the investment world. If I were to go to a place and I wanted to really break into the market, I would probably start with leasing and drive around an area and look for mom and pop lease signs, things that are not listed in the MLS. Might even go on Zillow, find properties not listed on the MLS. And I would just call property owners and say, hi, would you like to advertise your property in the MLS? Pretty simple. And they'll say, well, how does that work? And that's a present listing presentation for a lease. I would probably set a minimum price on that, maybe, just to make sure it's worth your time. Because if you're showing property, you have to drive there, drive away, drive back, drive away, drive back. So it's time consuming, but it is a way to break into a market and get your signs everywhere and meet investors that will buy maybe more income. I also on Thursdays have a class at 10 a.m. that we talk about things that come out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. It's Gary Keller's book. All right. Okay, do not call. So we need to talk about a little disclaimers here. Keller Williams is saying, please comply with any federal, state, local laws, which include call and texting. Never call or text a number on a do not call list. Do not use auto dialer or artificial voice or pre-recorded message without proper consent. Keller Williams Realty International. So that is our company. That's our headquarters in Austin, Texas. They have carefully prepared all these materials, but they are giving a disclaimer that anything can change without notice. These materials all contain hypothetical examples, and I think the thing that they're trying to just distance themselves from is saying that commissions are fixed and that there's collusion and restrictions. So All commissions are negotiable. It's talking about share contribution, distribution, compensation, market center financial, so everything is negotiable, basically. These are for informational purposes only, negotiating commissions, so we're gonna have scripts and dialogues about negotiating commissions. All the time when we talk about it, I tell you what I say to sellers when I'm sitting with them. And, now we have buyer dialogue when we're sitting with a buyer, so. I'm always gonna tell a seller. At the time of the signing a listing, we're only negotiating the listing side of the commission, but I am gonna tell a seller. Expect every single offer to be asking you for a commission when the offer comes, just expect that. There has been a lot of false advertising in the media. There's been sellers thinking they don't have to pay commissions anymore. Definitely not true. I mean, they don't have to, but if they want to sell their property. And we have ways of getting the commission into the purchase price so the buyer can finance it. They don't have the money. So we talk about that stuff.
You said tell the seller to expect that.
Of course, because when we write offers, we are adding a form asking the seller to pay the buyer's obligation. So a seller should expect that every offer they receive is going to be asking for them to pay for the buyer's obligation. Hello. So we have a guest visitor from Title.
Oh, yes. Hello, everybody. Long
Jerry.
time to see you. If we haven't met, Jerry Ferris,
Very
title rep for Clearmark Title, small boutique but mighty group. We love what we do and we love people like you.
Jerry, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? What did I walk into?
What's going on in the title world?
Okay. Positive stuff that we're seeing right now. I was just mentioning this earlier. The numbers aren't really matching up with the scary news. Like we opened up, I just took a look last month. We opened up as many title reports as we did last year. And this year we're on track. This month, we're also on track to do the same. So I don't know, there are people doing deals.
Okay. So from my research,
Yeah,
I've seen some areas that have growing inventory and some areas that have shrinking inventory.
yes,
And
and price points too. That's always,
yeah,
that's a big.
I mean, it just depends on the area.
Yeah, and that's exactly, thank you for saying that, because that's a very good point. It's like depending on the area that you're focusing on or where you're focusing or putting your energy, like it's not all of it, I mean, there's business to be done. So, and we've been working together on farming and doing things like that. I always appreciate you teeing stuff like that up. So we're doing good. You guys are doing good.
Right.
Got this. We got this.
Yeah,
So there's always people that need to sell, right?
Yes.
Those are the people we need to go after.
yeah. Are you, is there a class, are we focusing on like the 4Ds?
Today we're talking about make and receive offers. That's
Okay.
our Ignite class today. But obviously we all want more listings.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'd love to collaborate with you on, I'm kind of with our colleagues, we're working on doing like a toolbox summit where we wanted to. It's complicated at first when you start to get into it. And you're like, I don't even know what any of this means, but if we could just break it down to like maybe 4 classes over the month and focus on and have it kind of coincide with what you're teaching. So it's like maybe do it on Zoom, make it easy for everybody and talk about creating the farm, looking at turnover rates, and then focusing on, I mean, we have different drop downs where you can divorce, there's different things and different strategies. I know Richard works probate, doing that fun stuff. So we're doing that now. So I'll come back.
I'm gonna talk about it.
Great, but we're great. And I love crying with everybody.
Thank you.
Good. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
And are you staying? Are you back?
Yeah.
Yes.
We lost one and she's on her way. We just reeled her in.
You.
I'm always here.
You're always there. You guys, thank you.
Bye, Jerry.
Warning, buyer letters, installation, fair housing violations. Okay. So, it's interesting. I'm spending time on this red part because it's brand new. This was just added to Ignite literally last month. So, buyer letters. When I started real estate, my mentor told me, include a letter with your offer with a picture of the family and pull on the seller's heartstrings. right? You want to set yourself apart, include a buyer letter. Now we are discouraged from including a buyer letter because it could lead to discrimination. So it's an interesting thing, I guess. I can't imagine a seller discriminating against a buyer when they're offering a funding. Like, I can't imagine, but I guess there are people like that.
I'm sure there's lots of people like that, but sometimes money talks loud.
I just think money talks, right?
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
not for everybody. That's the problem.
I live in a very naive bubble.
What if there's multiple offers about the same amount, then maybe discrimination took place?
But you'd hope it's,
I think there's probably buyers out there that if they don't win a property, they sue. Probably, but I don't want to minimize discrimination.
I know that happened to a friend of mine. His neighbor
Yeah.
moved out. And my friend who lived next door kind of had a hand in who we wanted to move it next door. The seller first said verbally, okay, I think you're the guy. My friend said, I want this guy, changed his mind, and then there was a lawsuit.
So as a listing agent, my duty is to always get the seller the most money, right? Now, there might be a reason to go with someone who's not the highest offer. They might have a no contingent offer, right? And then, it's better to take a sure thing, right? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. That could be. So I've seen multiple times though, where there have been agents that have put in a higher offer and it's never even had a chance. They never got countered. They accepted a different buyer. But anyways, we're talking about buyer letters. So in the listing agreement now, it actually says that the seller instructs you not to deliver buyer letters unless it's checked that they want to see a buyer letter. What's up, Shania? Okay. So for me as a listing agent, I just want to say, when I go into a property and I'm talking to a seller, I want to get rid of clutter, obviously, in the house. And I also want to get rid of family photos, like all the stuff that means so much, like the whole photo wall. I want that out. Because a buyer coming into a property should picture themselves and their family in the property, not the person who's living there. I don't want them to come and look at the pictures and picture that family in the property. I want them to picture themselves in the property. Okay. All right, so we are towards the end of Ignite, which means we're going to be starting a new Ignite shortly. So today we're going to talk about making and receiving offers, and hopefully you'll get to negotiations. Okay, so our belief system in Keller Williams is the Y4C2T: win-win or no deal, integrity, always do the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand. So that's an important one. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, and success results through people. So that's our belief system, the Y4C2Ts. All right, so today we're going to talk about the offering process. Preparing your offer, writing it, presenting it, receiving offers and responding to them, and we'll do a little recap. All right, so what does Gary Keller have in his book for us? Okay, so he has a quote here from Bo Bennett. I like to think of sales as the ability to gracefully persuade, not manipulate, a person or persons into a win-win. The ability to gracefully persuade a person or persons into a win-win. When I see this word manipulate, I think I've talked about this in the past. I mean, not personally, but neurolinguistics and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So there's a ways to talk to people when you're speaking to them, get them to sign a document. It's just how you speak to them. Instead of saying, would you like to sign the offer? You say, sign the offer. You wanna like step down your voice. It's just, it's psychological.
What's the name of this program?
The NLP, it's neuro-linguistic programming.
And
NLP is, I'm sure if you go on YouTube and you search for NLP real estate, you're gonna get some great scripts and dialogues and methods of delivery in your communication to get people to do business with you. So that's manipulation. That is manipulation.
there's neuro.
Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. Yes, I'm sure. I mean, so YouTube.
Using downswings, they say.
Using downswings in when you're in like a 3-word or action, it doesn't have to be 3 words, but NLP. NLP practitioner course, NLP training course, NLP in real estate, the art of persuasion through better communication. There you go. More sales, NLP. So you'll come across this in your real estate journey. The ability to gracefully persuade. All right, today's agenda. So the offer process, let's talk about that. All right. The offer process starts with your buyer making an offer, and then the seller can do one of 3 things. So they can either counter the offer, accept the offer, or reject the offer. So when I'm talking to a buyer and we're writing an offer, I will say to them 3 things can happen, right? You're either gonna get a counter, you're gonna accept it, or reject it, or it'll get rejected. All right. Whatever happens, there's gonna be a negotiation. So,
Need a pen?
oh,
I got an extra.
all right, so if you get a counter offer, you're gonna negotiate, you're gonna either accept or negotiate it. If there's an acceptance, that's it, you're beginning the contract close process. If it's a rejected offer, then you need to contact the agent. So buyer agent contacts listing agent to learn more. Don't assume no means no. Whenever I see don't assume no means no, I think of my daughter who used to not give up until I said yes, right? It was impossible.
She a lawyer now?
I want her to go to law school. She's now a senior at USC. And I want her to go to law school. She's saying, I don't want to be a lawyer. And I'm saying, get your law degree, whether you want to practice law or not.
That's what my mom said to me and I didn't do it either.
So,
That's it.
you know,
And
I don't want to get canceled, but I don't know. I think having a law degree really sets you apart, whether you use it or not. It just, you know, you're definitely gonna get treated differently in a boardroom, right? If you're the attorney present. Even if you're not practicing law, like, oh, we are all attorneys, by the way. We're just not lawyers. We're an attorney in fact.
What is it called?
An attorney in fact. We're an attorney in fact. But we're not lawyers.
It mainly has to do with
estate.
power of attorney.
Power of attorney, yes. So when someone signs agency with us, we're their attorney in fact.
If you're looking at glossary or their training manual, you'll find attorney in fact. You won't find power of attorney until you see attorney in fact. That's the only place you'll find it. There's a glossary in the back.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it. Thank you. All right, so everyone understands the offer process, right? Making an offer. Now, there's things that we need information in order to first make our offer. But that's the process. We're gonna make an offer. The seller is gonna do 3 things: either counter it, accept it, or reject it. And if there is a counter, that could be accepted by our buyer, or we can give a counter back. So there'll be a negotiation. If our offer is accepted, excellent, we send it to escrow. We're gonna begin the contract close process. And if the offer is rejected, then we're calling the agent saying, why did you reject my offer? You didn't even give me the chance for a counter offer, like what's going on? All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, so preparing the offer. Here we go. Okay, preparing to write an offer. Ensure the property is still available. You know what? That's number 1. An agent calls me and says, JJ, I want to write an offer. First thing I do is I go on the MLS and I say, what's the address? And I look it up because I want to make sure it's still active. Right? And I'm gonna read what's on the MLS. Build rapport with the listing agent. So if you're gonna be writing an offer on a property, try to get to the open house, or when you're at the property with the client, try to get into a good relationship with the listing agent. You want that agent to like you and want to do business with you. You want to show them that your client is the one to pick, that they're gonna stay in the deal, and that it's gonna be an easy escrow for them. You're not a problem causer. Okay? Inquire about activity. So I'll ask the agent, do you have any offers? How's the activity been? Inquire about other offers on the property, status, why did they fall through? Yeah, if you have a property that's been on the market a while, ask, have there been any other offers? What happened with them? Were you in escrow before? Why did it fall out of escrow? Ask questions about the seller motivations and needs. So I'll always ask a listing agent, what does your seller want aside from price? Obviously, the seller wants the most money, obviously. What else do they need? Are they looking for a fast escrow? Are they looking to do an escrow and stay in the property past closing? Do they need to take that money to buy something else? Do they have a place to go? I'm trying to get motivation. Now this could help or hurt, hopefully there is motivation. A seller, if the agent is telling me the seller has the property on the market, but they don't owe anything on it, there's really no motivation to sell. That's not good, right? That means we're gonna have to come in with a pretty strong offer to motivate them. Just wanna change to. Okay, so ask the listing agent how they want to receive the offer. So this is interesting because you might have a listing agent that has their own buyer, right? Or it used to be that some offices have policies about multiple offers. Or I always read the MLS, definitely read the MLS, how they want the offers. It'll say email offers to a certain email address. Or it might say, upload your offer to this website. And you actually have to log into a website, create a login, and then upload your offer. So ask the listing agent how they want to receive it. Sometimes they're going to say, send your offer in a sealed envelope to the listing office. If there are sellers like that it's a trust situation. They want sealed bidding. They want to make sure there's no collusion between buyers and the broker. And it's actually a really good way to get the most money. So, I can tell you from experience, there was a property that came up here in the flats, and I had a buyer that really wanted the property. It was across the street from his house, and he wanted to buy it. And the listing agent would not give me any information. The listing agent would not tell me a thing. It wouldn't say where we were I put an offer in, and my client really, really wanted it, and we came in 2 million over the asking price. Wow. And we bought it. And we ended up getting it, I think, by $10,000.
Wow.
Oh,
So, yeah. All right, obtain the buyer's pre-approval from lender. So if you text me or call me and say, JJ, I'm ready to write an offer, I'll say, awesome. Has your buyer spoken to a lender? Does he have a pre-approval, or he or she? There should be a pre-approval, right? We want to submit our offer with a pre-approval and with proof of funds. We're going to review the MLS and the tax records. So we're going to read in the MLS what the agent wrote about the property. We're going to look at the tax records. Why is that important? The property on the tax records say it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 feet or 1,600 feet, and then the MLS is showing 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 3,600 feet, and you're like, what is going on? Why don't the tax records match the MLS? So we need to find out, was there non-permitted additions made to the property? Like, it could affect the price that we're offering. So we need to review the tax records. Produce a comparative market analysis for our buyers. Right, we do a CMA. not just for sellers, but for buyers. Obtain a seller's disclosure statement and other needed documents. So that's, sometimes there are agents that will upload disclosures in advance. Usually those are gonna be as is, something's going on, looking for cash offer maybe in that case, but there are some sellers that will have all the disclosures filled out. This is usually a seller that's looking for a non-contingent buyer. So let me talk about that real quick. So there are three contingencies for a buyer. A contingency is a reason to back out of a purchase without losing your deposit, right? So a buyer has the right to investigate the property. They have the ability to get a loan and an appraisal. So those are the three things the buyer can back out: investigation, loan, and appraisal. So we always have to recommend, we can never say to a buyer, you can't investigate. Remove all contingencies. A broker never recommends to a buyer to remove all contingencies. Now, if there's a listing that you guys find in the MLS and it says, as is, seller will not give any credit. Here are all the disclosures. Here are even some past inspection reports on the property. We still can't go to our buyer and say, I recommend you come into this offer on contingent. We should be saying to our buyers, there are already offers on this property that are non-contingent. So if you want to compete, is that an option for you? Is that a risk you're willing to take? Like, we can't tell them to do that, but we can say, if you want to be competitive, this is what you're gonna, I don't know if there's a chance you're gonna get this property. Otherwise, if you want to get your own inspector there, maybe we can request from the listing agent to allow us to bring an inspector today or tomorrow before they make any decisions. So that's always an option. But we should not be recommending to our clients to remove contingencies up front. That would be very dangerous. So now your buyer might be a builder and they don't care, they just want the land. Not an issue. But there's still some issues. They need to make sure there's nothing wrong with the land. Obviously, they need to go to the city, make sure, like, you can lose a lot of money in real estate not knowing what you're buying.
I had someone yesterday, she was in loans but was a buyer. And she asked if the seller had like a bundled loan, or they like
Oh.
needed to purchase before they could, need to sell before they could purchase for whatever reason. But then when I asked the listing agent, she said that they were non-contingent. What does that mean?
So there's a few things that I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but where I would think. So sometimes you'll have a builder that will build maybe 6 condos.
Yeah.
So there'll be a construction loan, but then there will also be included in that construction loan, takeout loans. So the builder will have prearranged financing for the buyers that come in.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be very difficult to get a loan on a brand new property where the other units have not sold.
Yeah.
There's no comps. So usually the lender that did the construction loan will do loans already prearranged for any buyer that comes. That's called a takeout loan.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he
then
just had a
those just-
conventional loan.
So then there's also like wraparound loans or even bridge loans
Yeah,
where the seller bought something else,
yeah, bridge is what she said, not
a
bundle.
bridge loan.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that seller bought another property using the house they're selling as collateral.
Right. But when I asked the listing agent if they did that,
Yeah.
she just said that he was non-contingent, and I didn't.
He's not contingent, meaning the property that he's buying has no contingency, so he has to sell.
Okay, so yeah,
It
that's,
has to be, because he's buying that property, taking the money out of this property that he's selling.
Yeah.
But he's buying that 100%, he's buying.
okay, so they knew what it meant, but I didn't.
There's a lot of motivation to sell.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to carry all that money.
I just didn't know what it meant, but they knew what it
That's
was.
good for you.
Yeah, well,
That's the
not I wish it was my listing, but
No, but you have a buyer for it? Oh,
they have an agent.
okay.
But the agent was asking me about it.
That's a seller that has to sell, because
Yeah.
otherwise he's carrying the debt on a lot.
Yeah, he's already fallen out of escrow before too.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah,
That's a good, I mean, if you have a buyer. So I would suggest to everybody, you know, there are a lot of, there are a lot of investor buyers. If you guys want to work with them, I can definitely put you in touch with investors that, want to steal property or whatever. You can, if you're willing to write offer after offer after offer, they will do it. Like, you know, that's, I would say, just start writing offers. If you write 100, you might get one or two, right? So that's a good way to start. I can put you in touch with, I get emails all the time from investors. You know, we're big time buyers, blah, 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 but they do buy. If you look up their history, they do buy maybe 10, 15 homes a month. So they do, you know, but they have agents writing offers all over the place. So usually what you'll do is you'll be writing an offer. You'll do a quick assessment of the value. You'll write an offer and under the asking price, obviously. And then you'll send it to the listing agent and then, or they'll sign it. You'll send it to the listing agent. You'll do this for a lot of properties. And then something's gonna get accepted, right? Once, or again, they get countered. Once it comes back to you, that's when they'll look at it. Right? And they'll say, does this make any sense? And you're gonna,
Just reject ones where if like your offer gets rejected, do they usually just forget about it? And they just move on because they have all these other ones?
but hopefully you're writing more. Just,
Well, yeah, but
you should be just writing tons of offers. Why not? Something's gonna stick. There's a seller that has to sell. They need the money. And it's just timing, right? Your offer's on the table. And you have a legitimate buyer behind you that will buy it, obviously at a discount, but they will buy it. And the seller needs the money. So I can put you guys in touch with buyers like that. 100%. All right. Do you have a question?
Do you need a certification certificate for investments?
Or anybody can be an investor.
I'm talking about if you want to sell investment properties. But it
What
have
are you,
to,
what are
right?
you thinking about?
No,
You're asking that question for a reason.
Yes.
What are you thinking about?
Taking an investment class
Okay.
online.
And there's a certification for that. Oh,
Yeah.
so you can get a certification as a real estate agent that you work with investors.
Yeah.
But that's, but
yeah, pay for that.
again, yeah, so again, about certifications, there are all these companies that offer certification. But
The CAR.
big but, a lot of these certification companies require you to pay a yearly fee to keep advertising the certification.
Okay.
So it's like,
Yeah, I
I
figured.
don't want to call it a scam, but because there is education involved, but
Yeah, I
Is that
figured that.
Valuable though. Like, are your clients gonna think it's that valuable?
yeah.
Maybe they do and it's worth it.
It's in the CAR and online ed class.
So we prepared to write our offer. So what did we do to prepare our offer? We got our proof of funds. So the buyer has to give us proof of funds. That means the current bank statement. It has their name, it has a balance, and it has a current date. And they've given us a pre-approval letter that they can get a loan. And then we've talked to the listing agent. We know the property's still available. We've read the MLS. Now we're going to prepare our offer and submit the offer. Okay, so now we're going to write it. All right, writing an offer. So this is the information we need. Price and terms. So what price are you offering? So hopefully the pre-approval letter from the lender will already say what your buyer is pre-qualified for. Sellers disclosures, were there any? Right? Conveyances, not really sure. Not really sure what they're referring to with conveyances. I'm not sure in California that's something. A conveyance is an actual transfer, a transfer of property, so I'm not really sure what that is referring to.
Like for personal property almost? What am I thinking?
Maybe there could be personal property conveyed, but so then, you know, if there are only a few things of personal property that could go into the offer, if it's a lot of personal property, that would more generally go on a bill of sale. Because don't forget, a lender is gonna lend on everything that's stated on the offer. So that's what a lender is doing. If your buyer's getting 20% down, 80% loan, the lender is basically making an 80% loan on everything talked about in the contract. So if the contract has a bunch of personal equity on it, you know, that the lender is basically putting 80% of the money in for the furniture, right? So they're not gonna wanna do that. All right, earnest money. So that's the deposit. It's called earnest money deposit, EMD. You'll come across that acronym, EMD. It's the earnest money deposit, which is usually 3%. So we want to tell our buyers, be prepared to put 3% into escrow once there's an accepted offer. You have 3 business days after acceptance to get your deposit into escrow. All right, how long do we need to inspect? So there's something called a due diligence period. That's the period where we're gonna do our investigations, our due diligence. The default in the contract for due diligence. We don't need 17 days to inspect this. That's a long, almost 3 weeks. A little over 2 weeks, so. Today is Monday. If I had an acceptance today, I could for sure get all my inspections done this week, 100%, and get the report back. No problem. So 5 days, 7 days, I can do it. I mean. If you are writing an offer going against other offers, you want to shorten your due diligence period to make your offer more attractive and more competitive. If you're not up against any other offers, there's no reason to shorten it. Basically, you're the only offer in town. Why shorten it? Time for the seller's acceptance. By default, our California contracts expire within 3 days of the last person signing it, 5 p.m. on the 3rd business day. So that's the time for the seller acceptance. We can shorten that. What if you guys see in the MLS, it says, so today is October 14th. What if you see in the MLS, it says offers due by October 22nd, right? 5 p.m. So you'll need to extend the offer expiration. Yeah, you'll need to extend it. Financing terms. So then we're going back to our pre-approval letter and looking to see if there's a rate and points on there. 30-year fixed, that's on the buyer pre-approval letter. Closing date. So how long does the lender need to close? Can they do a 30-day escrow, 45-day escrow, 60-day escrow? I've been seeing a lot of 30-day escrows lately, even less. So our lender here in the office can do really fast escrow, 7 to 21 days. Yeah. Home warranty. So you're gonna write into your offer that you want the seller to pay for a home warranty. On the bottom shelves here, we have different home warranties offered by Fidelity, by First American, and by Old Republic. A home warranty is an insurance policy for the buyer that gets paid for by the seller. It's usually under $1,000, and it'll cover all the appliances in the property, pool equipment, plumbing issues, electrical issues. If something breaks in the property, for the 1-year period after close of escrow, the buyer can call this home warranty company and pay like a $90 service call, and the home warranty company should fix whatever the issue is. So if the oven breaks, microwave breaks, right? There's a plumbing leak, the home warranty should come in. A lot of garbage disposals. Those will have repair limits on them. Some have higher than others, so I would suggest check the different home warranties. Special clauses in your offer. So maybe your buyer has some special things. Maybe they're a licensed real estate agent, but they're not active. So that would be a special something in your offer. Just write, buyer has a California real estate license. Or if you're related to the buyer, you write, buyer is related to buyer's agent, something like that. And any other addendas. So, what kind of, there's a whole checklist in the offers, all of these different checkboxes for what we might need to add. If there's a solar system, we might want to add a solar addendum. If the property is if we're writing a backup offer, we would go for a backup offer addendum. If the property is in the probate, we would use the probate addendum. If it's in foreclosure, there's a foreclosure clipping. So, all right, so we're just, every property is unique and we're just gonna get as much information as we can. Preparing our offer. Now we're gonna talk through it. So review the contract. Be sure your buyer understands it. Review details like price, closing date, inspection, contingencies, advances, etc. Know what is essential in your area. Know standard or common terms for offers in your area. Avoid rookie agent mistakes. So I don't know, well, we're gonna look at that one, so I don't know. Okay, talk through the offer. So I would think when you are talking to your buyer about making an offer, they want to know what their risk is, right? What is, a buyer always wants to know what's their risk. So we have, again, three contingencies. A contingency is an excuse to back out of your offer without losing money. So you have your investigations, your loan, and your appraisal. Those are the. So there's a form called contingency removal. It's an actual form that has to be signed. I hereby remove my loan contingency. I hereby remove my appraisal contingency. I hereby remove my investigation contingency. Contingency removal is a form that has to be signed. Until that is signed and removed, your buyer can back out and not lose money. Okay, now, the money that they might lose is their inspection costs. Because the buyer is paying their own inspections. They're gonna get a general inspector, maybe a sewer inspector for a house, chimney inspector, mold inspector, roof inspector, plumber, electrician, pool and spa inspector. Those are inspections that the buyer will pay for. So that could be money that they're out. I'll never forget, like when I started, I remember I had a friend in the community that spent like $3,500 inspecting a property that he decided not to go through with. And I was like, you spend that kind of money on a property and don't go through, like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how many properties do you inspect and not go through the deal? So if you're stacking, that can add up, right? You just keep putting all this money, but you know what? When you're talking to your buyer about spending money on inspections, this is the most important money spent. Because something might come up in that inspection that prevents them from losing a lot of money. And also, like, even, I would say even like a chimney inspection. You could have a brand new construction property and your buyer is saying to you, I'm not gonna spend money on brand new chimney. Why would I inspect a brand new chimney? Because the subcontractor that installed the chimney might have messed up. Like, it's rare to have a perfect chimney inspection. It's rare. So, the chimney, we have, if you see on a house, you see this big brick rectangular structure. That may not be the chimney. On a really old chimney, it is. But on newer chimneys, maybe even not so newer, the actual chimney is a steel pipe that goes up and, right? It's just a pipe inside that exterior structure. And when that chimney was installed, those are sectional pieces of steel that lock into each other. They go into each other and then turn and lock. And the contractor that was pushing down from the top may have pushed wrong and might have bent the pipe. And instead of locking like this, it locks like that. And there's a gap in the pipe and it'll create a hazard. So an ember could come and go through that. So it is important to do inspections. So just tell the buyer, we're gonna be doing inspections. This is how you're gonna know exactly what you're buying. So that's, the contract allows you to do inspections. It allows you to get an appraisal, get your loan approved. Before you remove those contingencies, you'll know exactly what you're buying and your lender will tell you, yes, we can do it. Closing date inspection contingencies, yes. Know what is essential in your area. If you guys are selling property up in the mountains here, anywhere that's a fire zone, just know insurance is gonna be challenging. So always recommend your buyer apply for insurance right away. Okay. Avoid rookie agent mistakes. So what is a rookie? A 30-day inspection time, would that be standard in your area or ridiculous? Okay. So I wouldn't, don't worry about that. But obviously, I do sometimes hear lenders asking for more time than is what is stated in the contract. So the loan approval is 17 days. And there are lenders that will sometimes ask for 21 days. So you're actually extending the time in the contract. You know, that's, again, it's a negotiation. I would maybe use a different lender if you're going up against other buyers. All right, let's talk now about presenting the offer to the agent. Okay. So double check everything that you're sending, follow the agent's instructions, very important. If you guys, or when you guys are putting an offer in, that's obviously very important for you and your buyer. Make sure that you follow instructions. I think it's really important for a listing agent to see that you're following their instructions. They might not even look at your offer because you didn't follow the instructions, right? So if it says in the MLS, upload your offer to a certain website and you just emailed it to the listing agent, right? Thank you. You didn't get it. Label all documents clearly. So I will make sure that my offer says offer from whoever it is, a residential purchase agreement. I'll make sure that my proof of funds says proof of funds, or I'm just changing the title of the file name. Order documents logically. So my purchase agreement will be document 1, not document 10. An email summary. Sure, you can put in your email, you know, thank you for your time with property. I'm pleased to present the following offer. This is how much money, this much escrow, you know, it's time for escrow. Looking forward to having a successful transaction with you. Oh, this is a really important one. Notify the listing agent. After you send an offer or a counter offer, call the agent or text the agent. I just sent you an offer. Can you please confirm receipt? A lot of times your offer will go to their spam folder and you assume that they received it and you don't hear from them. The offer gets accepted by another agent and you're like, what happened to my offer? I didn't get a counter. And you call the agent and they're like, wow, I didn't even see it. It was in my spam. So always notify the listing agent. I just sent an offer. Can you please confirm receipt? It's going to be a phone call or a text. I always do it. I just do it, like, no question. Add all documents to command. Okay. So that's our KW technology. Saying upload your documents and consult with your buyer. Always keep your buyer in. So this is what I do. I send the documents to my buyer. And then I will, after they get signed, I will send everything to the listing agent. I will then text the listing agent or call them. Can you please confirm receipt? They will let me know, yes, I received it. And then I will text my buyer back and say, your offer was confirmed received by the listing agent. And they will always respond, thank you so much. And then I will keep in touch. You know, communication is really important. Just stay in touch with your client. All right, receive and respond. Okay, so now receive and review the offer checklist. Make sure your offer is complete. Confirm receipt of offer. Yes. Get offer to the seller in a timely manner. So now we're receiving an offer as the listing agent. Okay. So as a listing agent now, you're receiving an offer. Is it complete? Does it have proof of funds? Does it have a pre-approval letter? If you have a really well-priced property and you have a lot of offers, you're going to be categorizing the offers that you get as these are the offers that are complete, have proof of funds, have a loan pre-approval. Here are the all cash offers, and here are the offers that are missing everything. Really poorly filled out, don't have proof of funds, missing the pre-approval. So you're not even paying attention to them, right? You're looking at the best ones. So we want to get the offer to the seller ASAP. Create an executive summary. So there is a form in CAR. I'm going to show it to you real quick. Because you guys are going to have lots of multiple offers. I'm still using the forms to show you. Great form that you're gonna all use. So excited for you. All right, so an offer comes in from Mike Tyson. Okay. And there is a form called summary. And this is summary of multiple offers. So this is a great form for you to fill out to keep track of all these offers you guys are getting on the same property. This is how you're gonna keep everything organized for your seller. So offer number one, offer number two, offer number three. Here's the price. Was it all cash? Are they putting 3% down? How much are they getting? How much are they borrowing? How long in escrow do they want? How long do they have for loan appraisal and investigations? Is it contingent upon them selling a property? Right? Are they asking for a credit? So that's an interesting one. They're gonna be asking for commission credit, right? To pay their agent. What are they asking for? Stove, washer, dryer, refrigerator, or more. And then the agent's name and the broker that they're with. So usually the way I'll fill this out is I'll put here offer number one. And then I'll put all the stuff here. I'll put who the agent is and their broker, and then I'll put one. And then I'll type here any additional stuff that makes what's unique about their offer or something that they're asking for. Usually it'll be here. Usually what I'll put here is how much they're asking for the warranty, right? Or sometimes, you know, whatever sets their offer apart.
So you're gonna have one for each offer you get?
So I'm gonna have each one column for each offer.
Oh,
Yeah, so I had a property I listed on Doheny in Beverly Hills. I think I had 5 of the 25 offers on the property. A lot of them. Yeah.
Except I guess for dealing with them.
Now, it's hard. I mean, you're going crazy. Now you have 25 agents calling you saying, mine, 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 right? I want the offer. I want this deal. So your phone, what do? You have 25 people trying to get in touch with you. Right? This is like, it's very frustrating for you as the buyer's agent when the listing agent is not contacting you, right? You're not getting feedback. They're busy, right? Think about it. So just keep bothering. Back to an order. All right, so, okay, so now I as the listing agent or you as listing agent are gonna confirm receipt of the offer. You're gonna get the offer to your seller right away. You're gonna create the executive summary. So that's what I just showed you. Summary of offers. You're gonna call the buyer's agent to discuss the offer. I got your offer. Is there anything that you need to tell me about your buyer? Why should I accept you? Let them tell you how great their buyer is. Or if there's anything that you're concerned about in their offer, you know, now's the time, take some notes. Call their lender, if allowed, it is allowed, to verify pre-approval. In our offers, it does give permission to the seller and the seller's agent to call the lender. So if I receive an offer with a pre-approval, I'm gonna call the lender. If it's not B of A, Wells Fargo, Citibank, right? If it's not one of those, because those major banks can't just give a pre-approval letter. The buyer actually has to fill out a loan application. They're gonna run credit in order for a bank to spit out a pre-approval. But if it's a mom and pop lender that I've never heard of, it could just be a letter that just says, yes, that's a pre-qualification. So I'm gonna call the lender, say, did you run credit? You know, how does this buyer look to you? Are there any challenges that you're seeing with their loan? Right? You get that information up front from the lender. Create an outline document to reference when you call the sellers. So you can do that if you want to have a checklist that you are gonna ask. I don't personally have a checklist. I'm just gonna look at the offer as it comes in. If anything surprises me or I have more questions about that. Okay. So save. All right, create an offer in command. We don't do that. I know if you guys set up your command, you've got your command to link to DocuSign. There are other states that send their offers through command and get them signed through command using DocuSign. We don't do that. We get our offers signed here in California through DocuSign. We do it through zip forms and docs. Other states do it through commit. All right. Buyer makes the offer, the seller responds in 3 ways. So the seller can counter the offer, accept the offer, or reject the offer. And then if we are countering, we're gonna have a negotiation. If we accept, we'll send everything to escrow, we'll open escrow, right? Or if the seller is rejecting the offer, then buyer is gonna contact the listing agent to talk about it. How do I get a response? All right, reach a decision. So. Talk about that. Okay. Now, just real quick on countering. So there's the buyer writes an offer. Now the seller is gonna give a counter offer. So the seller is either gonna give counter offer 1 or multiple counter offer 1. Those are the 2 different kinds of counters the seller gives. A buyer can only give a regular counter offer, which is buyer counter 1. The seller can choose to give a counter offer or a multiple counter offer. The difference between the 2 counter offers is a multiple counter offer. If that's accepted by the buyer, it's not binding on the seller until the seller signs it one last time. So if I am a seller and I receive 3 offers and I give 3 multiple counter offers back, I'm gonna wait for those 3 people to respond, and I'm the one that gets the last say who I'm going with as the seller. This protects the seller from being able to get the most money. Any questions on that? So the process is offer, seller counter 1, buyer counter 1, seller counter 2, buyer counter 2. So that can go back and forth. And I treat it like a ping pong game. My turn to hit the ball, your turn to hit the ball, my turn to hit the ball, your turn to hit the ball. I'm not gonna have any verbal communication, verbal negotiations. A lot of agents like to do verbal communication. I like to have everything in writing. Nothing verbal is an actual negotiation. I want it because of whatever the agent is saying doesn't mean anything. I want the seller or the buyer to put something in writing. I want from their handwriting. I need it in writing. So sometimes you're gonna make an offer and it's not gonna be responded to by the listing agent. And the listing agent is gonna say to you, rewrite your offer. What's an item? Rewrite your offer. And you're gonna say, it's your turn to respond. Right? We wrote our offer. It had 200 terms in it. Just counter us. You know, even if you have to give us a counter for full price, just give us a counter. It's your turn to respond. So a good agent will give you a counter. It's they know it's their turn to respond. Now it's your turn to respond. So now I want to see what the terms are that they countered. Now I'll take that back to my buyer and say, here's what they countered. What do you want to counter back? I've gone to counter offer number 10, which means I've had 20. There were 20 counter offers. I've done that twice. I've also called a listing agent before in Beverly Hills. And I said, you know, I have a buyer for your property. And the listing agent said to me, JJ, we need to be at this price. And my seller is not gonna sell 100%, is not going to sell less than this. So you do what you have to do. If you think that you need to lowball and we have to go back and forth 10 times, fine, we're gonna have to end up at that number. Or you can just write that number now and we'll have a deal. So the listing agent knew exactly what he was dealing with and said, this is how we're gonna make this deal happen. How is your buyer gonna negotiate? Are they willing to just give the money and do the deal? Or is it the type of person that has to go back and forth a million times?
And if not response after that, the 3 days is already expired?
So when we're dealing with an expiration, so anytime that you write an offer or give a counter offer, the language in there says that it expires within 5 p.m., 3 days from receipt.
The business day or doesn't it?
Calendar day. If the offer or counter offer is accepted within the time frame before expiration, it's binding on the other party. If it's accepted after expiration, it's not binding on the other party without them ratifying the contract. There's a new form coming out in December.
Oh
A
my
new
God.
form.
I love it.
There's a new form coming out in December called ratification of contract. So it's a new document coming out for accepting an offer past the expiration time.
Right now, we don't have any.
Right now, no, but the very act of sending all the documents to escrow and the buyer putting the money in and this is that's ratified.
So it's okay if after expiration. they-
It's okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, it's fine. If everyone wants the deal to happen, the deal's gonna happen. Right? We need a meeting of the minds. If everybody wants the deal to go forward, it'll.
So in December, you're gonna have another class on purchase and listing.
I'm never ending classes.
Since they're gonna have,
Education never stops.
okay. So they're gonna have new changes on both the purchase and the listing.
There will be new contracts, yes. The contracts that are being released in December are actually, they're actually make a lot of sense. They're good. There are things that make sense that they're getting released. So I just want to see here if they're even released yet. December release. June 24 forms of. Form releases charts. Updated October 2024. I'm not sure that those are out yet. So we had an attorney come here, courtesy of Michael Rosales. And that attorney shared with us, or it's our attorney, movie, shared with us forms that were not released yet. We had access to them. I don't know how. So they made a lot of sense.
JJ,
Yeah,
we have something new.
we finished today.
I
We've finished to this class. Do you guys want to do one more? Or are you done?
I just wanted to bring something else to your attention and give it to you.
Okay,
This
Oh.
one right here.
I think we should probably.
Property,
Residential.
or commercial.
Oh, AB 29, so this is what you sent me.
No, that's not what I sent you.
No, but AB 2992 is.
Yeah. But this one here saying that it's gonna have to be for both commercial and residential.
Oh,
property.
oh, wow. All licensed real estate agents, regardless of the type of property they are showing, must have a signed agreement in place before representing a buyer. Yes. All licensed real estate agents, so that applies to residential and commercial agents. And it has to be 3 months, can't be longer than 3 months, right?
I was under the impression that they only
Yeah.
referred to residential agents.
Yeah.
Wasn't it always standard though for commercial usually, or like more common? Not standard, but like,
No, thank you. That was actually in that long information that you sent me, because I read it. I actually read it.
Oh,
I
okay.
do read everything you sent me, Richard.
Make sure you read this.
Okay. What were you saying?
oh, wasn't it
Always required for.
not required, but pretty common with commercial deals? They were already doing like buyer broker agreements, or what am I thinking of? Maybe it was.
So in the commercial world, they've always had,
It was maybe it was always the commissions were always.
so they would use a non-circumvent agreement. Like, basically, commercial agents put together something called an OA, an offering memorandum. And that's a really nice, colorful brochure, shows the property, shows like an aerial view mapped out. And traffic, demographics, it's a nice thing that they do. And then if you want to get that offering memorandum, you need to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure And so that they
Yeah.
have used those NDAs.
My mom also told me why lawyers don't like to sign, God, what is it? Why am I blanking?
Yeah.
No,
Confidentiality.
no, the other part of the agreement that you always said you have trouble getting.
Oh, arbitration.
Yeah, she said that it's because, her saying is that, why would you give up the right to having a jury of your peers or having a court ruling instead of an arbitrator?
Okay.
But she also works in corporate, so.
So why would you give up the right?
It's about not giving up your rights
I
to a jury
If you
trial.
agree to arbitration, you're in advance giving up the right.
Yes, it's all about that. That's where
Right.
she stems from,
So
which,
what if you're in the wrong?
see, that I didn't ask her. Because, but for her, it's all about. This comes with corporate law, though. It's all about trying to like do it in the way that you know you're gonna win. And so why would you give up the potential that if you go to a jury of your peers or you go to a court?
So I would say, from a seller's point of view.
Yeah.
If you don't have arbitration, you could potentially be tying up your property for years in court, right? Without the.
I told her that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did she agree with that?
She said it kind of it depends on what you're signing the arbitration for. She said like, because she doesn't know real estate law, that she'd have to make sure it explicitly states.
Any dispute.
Yeah, that's, I think what the problem would be for her. At
Okay.
least. She'd want it to have very specific outlines of exactly what would go to arbitration.
Okay.
Instead of.
Right.
It's any dispute.
So I would say the time that you spend. So making sure that you're gonna get a good jury or a jury of your peers,
Yeah,
I would say that an abundance of time should be spent picking the arbitrator.
Yeah.
Right? You want to research the arbitrator because both people have to agree on who the arbitrator is. So I would spend a lot of time researching past rulings that these arbitrator has made to see how they rule in certain scenarios.
'cause she would agree with mediation before,
Yeah.
but she wouldn't agree to mediation.
Mediation is agreed to up front.
Yeah, but she wouldn't agree to mediation first and then straight to arbitration.
So we are not allowed to make recommendations to our clients to initial liquidated damages,
Oh, yeah.
but we can explain to them the scenarios.
I just wanted to see if she had, because you had asked,
Sure,
like,
so I think all attorneys are taught in law schools never to agree to arbitration up front.
it didn't say that, but she,
Recommend.
but like, it's probably recommended.
Yeah,
But she's also, she does commercial, so it's almost automatic,
that's commercial.
or not commercial, corporate, so it's almost always agreed to upfront by corporations to agree to arbitration because
Okay.
they don't want to do class actions. But I was like, well, that doesn't apply to real estate usually.
Yeah.
He's also really stubborn.
All right,
I have a question, JJ, if you.
yes,
Well, about the arbitration, I'm not sure about the real estate part, but I've done many non-disclosure agreement for example, import, export, commodity or every other thing. Some of them, people made a private arbitrator in another country or another state for making making it easy for themselves because sometimes people don't even read all those pages and don't care about it. And after anything happens, they cannot go to that state or that country to do that. Is it possible to be happen in real estate in California or not?
so the good news for us is we're in California.
Yeah.
I mean, we're right, we are only allowed to buy and sell property in California with our California license. Anything in any other state or country is gonna have to go through another agent that we cooperate with, or that cooperates with us. So if the property is located in California, those are the ones that we can transact ourselves. So it will go to mediation or arbitration in California. So we don't
It
have to
should be
worry.
inside the state.
Inside this state, yes, inside the state. And I think even, yeah, it'll be through a local board of realtors.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, I think we're good for today.
We're very unrelated.
Really, just bring it.
I have a friend who buys and renovates and then rents out property in Memphis. Do you know?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know the process of if I wanted to get another license in another state, how to,
Ah.
like, would that be really difficult because it's completely out of?
Right. So some states have resident requirements and some
Right, yeah.
states don't.
You know, if you maybe knew.
I don't know what Tennessee does.
Yeah.
So some states will some states make you
Either.
be there, they
Yeah.
want to see proof of residence.
Right.
And some states don't.
And if they didn't, I could just do the extra, whatever the extra.
Yeah, you can
And-
pay, yeah, you can do it.
then-
So I would say contact the Keller Williams in Tennessee.
Okay.
And they should be able to tell you.
Cause. it'd be cost of business, right?
Yeah, so.
Wait.
Yeah.
Cheap business, but business.
Makes sense. All right, guys, thank you. Have your real estate conversations, 10 a day. 10 real estate conversations a day. Social media, on 10 likes, 5. 10 likes, 5 comments, 1 post. Make your appointments, listing appointment. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution. People are happy to be in a relationship with me. Sorry, daily affirmation by Claire. Okay, so I got an application from someone from Friendsbury. And they have no credit. I've never seen this ever in my life. It says credit score is 0. Not enough information. And then I went through their trade lines, they have nothing. They're a ghost.
Wow.
That would have been me though, if my mom wasn't smart and put me on her account a long time ago. I would have,
Nothing.
I just opened my first credit card on my own for a single purchase. So I would have had nothing my whole life, but you put me on it as a 19, 18
I
year old.
put my kids on my credit
Yeah.
cards. They have good credit already. because-
Yeah, me too. I
It could have
really-
been someone in witness protection because you got
Yeah, it's great. I think I have 780 something.
That's interesting.
That's my mom.
Yeah.
Richard said it could be someone in witness protection. Very interesting. Very.
And on page
That's so
6,
guy about-
notary training manual, that is defined that city in
Yeah,
fact.
that'd be perfect, because it's my boyfriend's friend.
Page 76.
And he'll have you buy.
He said, yeah, he literally, we were on a FaceTime call with him or like a whatever version of it. And he was like, if you guys lived here, I would have you doing all my deals. Cause he knew I'm in real estate. I was like,
Yeah.
well, then I can get the license. How you guys are staying?
Exactly. If he's telling me 20 deals and.
Yeah, I don't know how many, but